Hey there, I'm so glad you're here. If we haven't met yet, I'm Michelle Willard. I specialize in guiding women toward deeper self awareness and healthier relationships, starting with the one they have with themselves. I want to welcome you to this mini course called From Triggered to Transformed: How to Break the Cycle That's Breaking You. Over the next 3 days, you'll receive one short video per day straight to your inbox. Everything you'll see is taken from a 6-hour live 2-day virtual event where I walked women through the exact steps they needed to take to heal the disconnect inside of their marriages and within themselves. This particular section of the workshop has been broken down into 3 shorter videos that will help you understand why 95% of relationships either end or get stuck in what I refer to as the triggered stage. I'll help you understand why you get triggered and how those painful moments can actually become the doorway to deeper healing and true intimacy. You'll hear me speak candidly, share parts of my own story, and hopefully help you see yours a little more clearly too. So take a deep breath, settle in, and give yourself permission to receive. I'll meet you back here tomorrow with the next video in the series. Let's get started.
Romantic relationships go through 4 stages. And the truth is that communication is only easy in the first and the 4th stage. We've all experienced the honeymoon stage, right? And we all want to get to the last stage where we experience true intimacy and we feel fully loved and fully known. So over the next 2 days, I'm going to show you what you need to do to progress through the middle 2 stages. So stage 1 is the honeymoon, where we don't need to eat or sleep and all logic goes out the window because the emotion side of our brain has completely taken over. And because of this, a lot of people get addicted to the excitement and rush that this stage brings. And this is why people go from one relationship to the next, searching for that high that it brings, because it is a true high. When we're in the honeymoon stage, we think that we've fallen in love with someone, but we've often either fallen in love with the idea of who we think that person is, or we've fallen in love with the way that they make us feel. In essence, we've become infatuated with the idea of being loved. Here's the thing. If your love for one another is dependent on them behaving a certain way or making you feel a certain way, then you're in trouble and so are they. Sometimes the honeymoon stage can set us up for a lot of disappointment. One, because we think it will always be like this. And 2, because women especially often make sacrifices in those beginning years with the expectation that if we take care of them and meet all their needs, that they will be happy, never leave us, and they will return the favor and take care of us and our needs. Right? So I grew up thinking that a good Christian wife was selfless, putting her own needs last and ignoring her needs altogether. I thought that by denying myself, that I was loving like Christ, who gave everything that he had for all of the people around him. But he didn't do it by neglecting and abandoning himself. He didn't do it in order to feel needed or in hopes of getting something in return. He was able to powerfully give from a place of overflow because he was actually getting his needs met from the Father. Christians are meant to give generously of what we have, whether it's love, money, resources, or time. But it's not possible to give what we don't possess ourselves. When Jesus said to love your neighbor as yourself, I interpreted that to mean I was to love others instead of myself. But that's not what he said. He said you are to love others as you love yourself. How can you do that unless you actually love yourself first? And I'm not saying that you shouldn't meet people's needs when you want to and when you have the capacity to and when it's on your heart. But I invite you to become an observer of your intentions behind your acts of kindness. Is there an exchange that you're expecting in this transaction? If they don't appreciate you or return the favor, are you going to be resentful? When we put others' needs before our own, we walk around desperate for someone else to fill us up. And then we end up feeling empty and resentful that the people in our lives aren't sacrificing as much as we are. Other people aren't responsible for filling us up. That's our job. Ultimately, the relationship that we have with ourselves determines the health of every other relationship that we have in this life. We need to love and treat ourselves the way we want others to treat us. We're teaching them how to treat us by how we treat ourselves, not by how we treat them. Our relationship partners, they want to meet our needs and make us happy, but they shouldn't be completely responsible for meeting all of our needs. And they can't be the source of all of our happiness. That's a burden. We are responsible for our own happiness. And making that someone else's job will just lead us to a life of disappointment. When we step into our relationships with unhealed wounds from our past, whether from another relationship or even all the way back to childhood, we often subconsciously expect our partners to be the healer of a wound they didn't create and then blame them for not providing the medication that they didn't know that we needed. And that's why all relationships enter into stage 2, the triggered phase or powered struggle phase. Now, this is where you start to reveal the unhealed parts of yourself and discover the unhealed wounds of your partner. You start to trigger one another, and it begins to feel like they're bringing out the worst in you. In fact, 95% of relationships either end here or remain stuck in stage 2. Our relationships are a magnifying glass to the wounds of our past that we haven't healed from yet. When we find ourselves triggered by our partner's wounds or words or actions, it's often because we have a limiting belief about ourselves that serves as a landing pad for something outside of us. Let me give you an example. Let's see here. Is that, oh, wait a minute. Okay. Yeah. So if my husband starts complaining that I don't do enough around the house, and I have a wound from my past that has caused me to believe that no matter what I do, it's never enough, then his words have a landing pad to fall on. Since there's a part of me that believes that about myself, I will be more likely to respond with defensiveness and anger because a deeper unresolved wound from the past is subconsciously surfacing in that moment. Now, I'll give you another scenario. If my husband starts criticizing me because of my purple hair, that's not going to land anywhere because there's no part of me that believes that about myself. I might be wearing a purple shirt, but I don't have purple hair. It's clear that whatever he's saying doesn't have anything to do with me. In fact, something must be wrong with him if he thinks that my hair is purple. There's no landing pad. All right. So as I said before, people can't make you feel a certain way. When they trigger you, it's revealing what's already inside of you. And if we recognize that, we can use our triggered moments to help us identify the beliefs that we've adopted and the meaning that we're attaching to the situation in front of us. If we need our partners to do and say certain things in order to confirm that we are loved or worthy or good enough, then we're giving them all the power in the relationship. And powerlessness leads to resentment because we believe that they owe us something that we can't get from them. But the truth is, they don't know how to give it to us because of their own brokenness and pain.